Discipline is not a habit, it's a fortress. Control your time and you control the game. The weak wait for sparks of motivation. The strong, they move by systems. Unfeeling, consistent, surgical. The untouchable doesn't wait to feel ready. He decides to be ready. Daily, without emotion, without permission. In the world of power, discipline isn't a lifestyle. It's protection. It's architecture. And time is the currency everything's bought with. Look around. Everyone's busy. No one's effective. They move fast, but they go nowhere. They chase dreams without a system. Spend energy without direction. They mistake noise for impact. But not you. If you're still here, you're not chasing momentum. You're here to own time. That ownership begins with invisible control, the quiet structure behind every hour. Machiavelli didn't talk about planners, he talked about power. And the first battlefield, your time. If you don't rule your hours, someone else will. They drift, you command. They wait, you decide. They move when life pushes, you move when your code says so. They are slaves, not to chains, but to chaos. You are steel, shaped by routine. Discipline is sacred, not loud, not posted, sacred. You don't wake up because of alarms. You wake up because your mission demands it. You train not for aesthetics, but because weakness is risk. You master your time, not to look productive, but because chaos is for the powerless. This is how power is built, silently. Every hour you own is a wall. Every task finished is a weapon. Every routine followed is a shield between you and mediocrity. They chase ease, you chase command. It's not about perfection, it's about predictability to yourself. When your body acts before your feelings can interfere, that's mastery. That's power. That's freedom. Real freedom isn't doing what you want. It's having structure to never need to want. The freest person is the one who has mastered limits, rituals, systems, cold execution. They remove doubt. They kill hesitation. Most people sabotage themselves with randomness. They want change but resist repetition. They want success but live by impulse. That's why they fall. They chase motivation. You follow a code. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to act. That's discipline. It's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's what separates those who build thrones from those who watch others rule. Machiavelli would have said, don't wait for a crown, build a clock. Make the world move on your time. Structure isn't control, it's power. The more ordered your inner world, the less the outer world can touch you. Time is the battlefield. Most walk unarmed, but you're armored hour by hour, choice by choice. You use time like a sword. You cut distractions. Guard your mornings, reflect at night, sleep like a king, rise like a soldier, move like a ghost. Distractions will come, noise will scream, emotions will try to pull you off course. But you already know, emotion is a thief, chaos is the enemy, motivation is a lie. Your routine must be heavier than your excuses. So when your feelings start talking, your actions are already in motion. That's the secret. Not thinking more, but thinking less. Because your system already knows the path. Eventually, your discipline becomes your identity. You no longer force it. You are it. A person who performs without pressure, moves without chaos, explains nothing because his results do the speaking. And here's the final truth. When they see you don't waste time, they'll understand. You don't waste power. It's not your voice. It's not your presence. It's not your consistency. That's what makes you feared. That's your weapon. That's your fortress. That's your proof. If you've chosen mastery over motivation, write this down. I don't follow motivation. I follow a code. Because from now on, you don't manage time. You rule it. Emotional detachment is the weapon they'll never see coming. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest. He's the one who sees everything and feels nothing. No reaction, no flinch, just cold, silent calculation. While the world trains you to open up, Machiavelli would train you to become unreadable. Because emotion isn't the enemy, reactivity is. The moment they know what offends you, they own you. The moment you flinch, they adapt. The moment you explain yourself, the power shifts. You don't win by feeling more. You win by separating feeling from decision. When they scream, you listen. When they insult, you analyze. When they provoke, you stay still. Because silence in the hands of a disciplined person is sharper than any blade. Machiavelli said, people are ruled by love or fear, and fear is far safer. Love expects softness. Fear demands boundaries. Love wants your heart. Fear obeys your silence. That's why emotional detachment isn't numbness. It is strategy. You don't erase emotion, you control it. You feel, but only when it serves you. Your feelings are weapons you carry silently, folded and concealed. Your calm is not weakness, it's control. Look around. Most people are drowning in their own noise. They speak before thinking, argue before understanding, burn bridges in the name of pride. But the detached person burns nothing. He lets fools destroy themselves while he watches, untouched. You want control? Then detach. Not out of bitterness, but out of strategy. Stop arguing with the unworthy. Stop chasing understanding. Stop reacting to tone shifts and passive aggression. Your calm isn't indifference, it's precision. This is what separates the average from elite. The average person is ruled by impulse. He replies when provoked. He yells when disrespected. He begs for closure. But the elite person, he closes doors without a sound. He walks away not because he's weak, but because the battle isn't worth his energy. This isn't theory, it's training. You have to learn to sit with discomfort, to feel rage and not act, to feel insult and stay silent, to feel abandonment and not chase. Every time you resist the urge to react, you sharpen your mind. You become the storm, not the one they see coming, but the one they cannot predict. Because power is clarity, and clarity doesn't exist in a reactive mind. Detachment clears the fog. It shows you people not as you wish they were, but as they truly are. You don't lose feeling, you gain vision. You stop mistaking chaos for love. You stop needing lies to feel validated. You stop expecting loyalty from betrayers. Most people crumble because they crave emotional comfort from the same people who feed them pain. But the Machiavellian mind, it craves results, not reconciliation. It seeks control, not closure. It doesn't chase apologies. It builds empires in silence. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove your worth to the blind. You don't need to win every emotional war. You win by becoming unavailable. And once you do, people notice. They feel your distance. They fear your stillness. They don't know what you're thinking. And that makes them nervous. A man they can read is a man they can play. But a man who reacts to nothing terrifies them because they don't know if they're dealing with peace or preparation. Eventually, they'll test you, they'll poke you, they'll bait, they'll try to break the silence. Don't move, don't explain, don't fight. You've evolved. You've stepped into the rare air where peace is earned through power, not fear. Let go of the version of you that needed to explain, to justify, to tease. That person dies today. Because when you move with calm, they'll say, "You've gone cold." Good. That means they cannot play anymore. They cannot read you. They cannot reach you. The version they used to manipulate is gone. So here's your choice. Stay reactive and be manipulated forever, or detach and become the one they cannot touch, they cannot trigger, cannot read. If you've started to master silence within, if you felt yourself pulling away from the chaos, write this in the comments now. Detachment is my power. I feel nothing. I lose nothing. Because when you no longer react, you rise. Solitude is where you become dangerous. Most run from it. They call it loneliness. They fear silence. They panic when the notifications stop, when no one checks in, when the room goes quiet. But they don't collapse because of pressure. They collapse because they cannot sit with themselves. Let me make this clear. Solitude is not punishment. It's purification. It's not where you lose yourself. It's where you meet the version of you that doesn't need validation, applause, or attention. The version that doesn't perform for the crowd. The version that deals in silence, cold, focused, and untouchable. You cannot build power with noise. You cannot build clarity around energy leeches. You cannot develop a sharp mind while drowning in distraction. Solitude strips it all away. The fakes, the noise, the masks, until only you remain raw, real, uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that's the beginning of your evolution. Machiavelli wouldn't have told you to find support when you're weak. He'd tell you to retreat, not to escape, but to refine, to vanish from the crowd and return unreadable, to rebuild a life that needs no defense, no applause, no explanation. Most people try to heal in the arms of those who broke them. That's why they stay broken. Still accessible, still emotionally available, still owned. But the Machiavellian man disappears, not to sulk, but to sharpen, not to beg, but to build. He doesn't vanish because he's lost. He vanishes because he's becoming. Solitude is not weakness. It's resistance, training for the soul. It teaches you to sit with your own thoughts, not drown. It forces you to confront the version of yourself you hide behind distractions. And once you face him, you gain what most men will never have: self-command. You become your own anchor, your own source of peace, because the man who depends on no one for his stability is the person no one can break. And that's what your enemies fear. They hope you stay reactive. They hope you stay addicted to attention, stuck to your phone, explaining your silence, because they know once you embrace solitude, you become untouchable. In solitude, you start hearing truth, not opinions, not noise. Truth. Truth about your patterns, your weaknesses, your addictions. And truth demands change, discipline, sacrifice. That's the price, and only the serious pay it. So don't isolate to escape, isolate to construct. Use every quiet day to build your body, your system, your mind, audit your circle, heal your dependencies, break your addictions. Let every hour in solitude stack into power. Yes, they'll talk. They'll say you're cold, disconnected, different. Let them. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be undeniable. When you resurface, you'll realize you weren't avoiding them. You were surpassing them. The lion doesn't announce the hunt. He disappears, studies, sharpens, then strikes. While they chase attention, you chase alignment. While they seek comfort, you seek clarity. They need the crowd. You need only your discipline. Powerful people don't fear solitude. They require it because they know solitude is where the blueprint is written. It's where the mind is organized, the body is refined, and the mission becomes unstoppable. People say, I don't want to be alone, but they already are. Surrounded but empty, emotionally abandoned, spiritually hollow. They don't fear loneliness, they fear silence because silence reveals truth. So let silence show you who you are, then fix it. Not for them, for you. You owe it to that person you could become, to kill every version of you that clings to weakness. Let that version die in the quiet. Let it rot while you rise. Don't confuse solitude with stagnation. In the world of silent people, progress happens without applause. No one sees the 4 a.m. wake-ups, the breakdowns, the discipline. They don't need to because results don't need validation. They command respect. And once you weaponize solitude, people will feel it. They'll feel the shift in your presence. They'll feel the silence around you harden. You'll say less, but they'll hear more. You'll show less, but they'll feel everything. And when they ask, what happened? You say nothing. Because true transformation doesn't announce itself. It answers questions without words. So here's your next move. Vanish tactically for 90 days. Not from the world, from the noise. Take back your hours, train, learn, refine, subscribe to this channel, and listen to these videos daily. Let them think what they want because what you're building isn't for them to understand. It's for them to feel when you return. And when you do, you'll walk differently. You'll speak slower. Your presence will demand silence, not because you're trying, but because you've become. The world won't define you anymore. They won't manipulate you because you now move on your own terms. So build your war room in solitude, make plans in silence, sharpen in the shadows, and when the time comes, execute without hesitation. If you're ready to disappear and evolve, comment below. I disappear to evolve. I reappear unrecognizable. Because when you no longer fear alone, you become the one they fear in silence. Evolution is the final strike. While they mistook your silence for weakness, you were sharpening, alone, focused, reconstructing, not broken, reforging. They thought you vanished in defeat, but you are simply dismantling the past. A version of you had to die so a weapon could be forged in its place. And now you've returned, not louder, not angrier, but colder, sharper, detached. Not because you're numb, but because you've realized how much energy you wasted trying to be understood in a world that rewards manipulation more than truth. You've learned the truth. The world doesn't reward truth. It rewards manipulation. You wasted years trying to be understood in a system built on illusion. That era is over. Revenge, you've outgrown it. Because now you understand what a Machiavelli lived by. A person must be either pampered or destroyed. In modern terms, protect your peace or eliminate all threats to it. No middle ground. You no longer explain. You no longer plead. You are the silence that unsettles, the presence that commands. Once you begged for peace, now you are the storm. Self-focus has refined you into something surgical, precise, dominant. This isn't cruelty, it's completion. You don't chase understanding. You don't grieve what outgrew you. You've stopped allowing betrayal to wear the mask of connection. Power doesn't chase. Power doesn't beg. Power watches. You've mastered the art of strategic solitude. You've turned silence into your most dangerous weapon. You no longer react, fold, or explain. And in that stillness, you become unreadable, untouchable, unstoppable. Let them whisper, let them wonder, let them reach with the same tired games. You owe them nothing. Because when they lose access to your mind, they lose control over your destiny. And self-focus has built something terrifying, present. You don't need applause. You don't demand power. You are power. Quiet, composed, complete. You don't destroy them. You let them leave with the loss. That's the quietest kind of devastation. You don't need closure. You've outgrown the chaos. You've burned the niche. And in its place, you built a system, disciplined, cold, efficient. Every move intentional. Every hour earned. And when the past comes knocking, it's met with silence. That version of you is gone. You're not motivated. You're structured, not emotional, exact. You're not seeking revenge. You're too evolved for it. That's what Machiavelli respected. Not the person who reacts, but the one who rises so far above the noise he becomes unreachable. And if they return, you don't attack. You don't defend. You don't explain. You no longer exist in that dimension. You've transcended. That's the ultimate revenge. Evolution, so ruthless, you can't even provoke a response. Your mind is a fortress. Your time sacred. Your presence earned. You've become what they feared. A person who needs nothing, chooses everything, and vows to no one. So, what now? You keep building quietly. You protect your peace like it's armed. You study while they sleep. Train while they doubt. You widen the gap daily. You leave the average behind. You never return to who you were. That person served his purpose. He died for this, for who you are now, a person who no longer flinches, folds, or fails himself. You are the one they feared. You'd become fully in control. And if you walk this path from distraction to discipline, from noise to precision, write this and mean it. They cannot reach me anymore. I've become the silence they cannot decode. Never forget, true power doesn't shout. It doesn't seek applause. It doesn't chase closure. It simply is.